Welcome to Market Buzz. I'm Greg Schnell, the Canadian technician and host of the Market Buzz. Each show we do a deep dive into different industries using weekly charts to see what is happening on a long timeline. Please follow me on Twitter at Schnell Investor, and you can also find my blogs on gregschnell.com as well as StockCharts.com. So today I want to cover off IPO Mania and see if there's a way that we can manage all of this mischief. We've got all of these SPACs popping up, but we've got some real companies already formed as companies, set up as companies that you can value, and Airbnb might be an example. Bumble is another one. So lots of different ideas. Anyway, I'm going to show you some ideas around IPOs that I found on StockCharts the other day, and I think you'll find it quite intriguing. So we're going to cover off a new feature. I think it's a new feature. I hadn't seen it before. It covers off recent IPO listings, so you can keep up with all the SPACs or even new companies that have come to market. You can sort them by strengths, and I should have fixed that. That is names you've never heard of, not off. Names you've never heard of. And if you haven't been over to the gregschnell.com website, we're constantly improving, trying to add more data over there and more things. Two of us work there. Dwight Galusha helps me out, does daily setups every day. We've been knocking the ball out of the park with those really nice trading ideas. So hopefully you're catching some of those. And if you'd like to catch some more, please sign up. Okay, let's head over to Safari, and what I want to show here, this is just the general main view for members. And what you see here is in this middle box, the chart for all the different markets. I usually like to just kind of click through and see what's going on. So here's the Nasdaq Composite. And the one point that we've been making lately is that the Nasdaq has been soaring in volume. This volume component here up around 10 billion for two of the days last week and 10 billion for two of the days in late January. Crazy volumes, and when you unwind the tape, you just see that those volumes are the biggest ever. And then when we scroll down to weekly, literally 40 some billion shares traded last week for the Nasdaq Composite. That's just huge. That's I think it was 44 billion. It was significant. Anyway, what we're seeing is a lot of money moving towards the speculative area of the market. Doesn't mean that the market's over. It means that's where the most price action is going. So it's always good to watch. But I think I found a very interesting feature that we can use to kind of reward our ability to keep up with all the changes over there. So first of all, from the Your Dashboard page, over on the left-hand side, you have this tool list here, different ways of looking at the market and different summary pages and reporting. And one of the things, so as an example, the cryptocurrency, but one of the things when I look through here, I don't see anything new. I haven't clicked on this what's new, but when you go through here, you'll see that there's some new ideas playing in here, and this is a helpful tool to just kind of give you an idea of how to use the StockCharts platform. But what I want to show you over here is on Charts and Tools. And if you scroll down, what we've got at the bottom here is a button called IPO listings. And recent IPOs added to StockCharts with click links to the charts. So what you can do is you can click on that, and it's going to give us a few. And you can obviously pick the history. And in this case, I think it goes back to 3 months or something like that. But I noticed this button, which was golden for me. You can save it to a chart list. And so what I like to do is I put something in a chart list, and I have a whole bunch of lists I have set up for dumping scan data into. So I could just go down here and pick any one of these scanning things. Here's just a regular holding thing. So I can replace the list, get rid of everything in there, and with one button just automatically put all this stuff in here. Now that's great, but it doesn't help me with one critical step, which is sorting them in some sort of order about how well the stock is doing. So how do you get around that little hurdle? And I want to show you that today because I think it's probably one of the most important little features going. So we dumped that in a chart list called FS Scan. And so what we can do is we can go down here. We can pick a chart list. So this is scanning FSCAN, and it's list number 295. Now I hit that button and add it. So again, I'm at the bottom of this advanced scan tool, and I add it in there. Now what it's going to do is going to put it up here in the very top. I have one problem. I don't want this "and" at the front, and then I want to rank it by RSI, and I'm just going to copy this and move it down from here and put it under the scan I've got and put it in there. Let me just fix that again. Okay, I'm going to go out here and paste that, and then I'm just going to get rid of all these. So, okay. So by doing that, now what does our scan say? Basically, it says look on this list and rank it by RSI 14. So some of these stocks are very new to the market. I can't really rank it by anything longer term. In my intro, I talk about long-term charts. Well, we're looking at stuff that might not have been listed for more than a week or two. Anyway, what we do when we run this scan, I want to show you something that will happen. And over here on the right-hand side, it's going to pick something like whatever we've scanned for, but I've told it to rank by the daily RSI. Now, that doesn't do anything for us unless we scroll all the way to the bottom. I have to dump this. So I put it in a chart list, and now I have to replace an existing chart list with all these results. And now I want to preserve the sort order. And when I do that, whatever, I'm going to pick a different one to dump it into. But let's just say I dump it into Scanning John or whatever. So I'm going to take all of the data. I put it originally into whatever, a scan file, which is just literally for loading things in. Anytime I want to save something, I don't leave it in any file called scanning, because I'm just going to write over it. What I've done now is I've dumped it into Scanning John, and I preserved the sort order, so it's put a number in front. And it's taken the stocks with the strongest price action over the last 14 days and put them at the top of the list. And that's what that rank by tool that we used here, this rank by area. Now, we have run this scan, and so I think we dumped them in there, and then what we've got is Bumble at the top. Now, one of the problems we have is my default chart list is a daily chart. Now, that normally wouldn't be a problem, but on IPOs that can be. So we can, push a button and get a 60-minute scan. Well, you can see that Bumble has just started to trade 3 days ago, and so it's not really going to get us what we want. But let's just go down a couple of stocks. I don't really care which one. Try and find one that's got a little bit more data. Okay, let's just tab through. Okay, all of these are very recent, like last day or two. So what I want to use here is I'm just going to go down and I'm going to grab a couple of tools. First of all, let's go to 60-minute chart. And then on the 60-minute chart, I want to do a couple of things. I want to just clean up my parameters. I'm probably not going to get Keltner bands on most of them, so I'm going to take it off. I'm going to leave a 20-day moving average if this stock has been around long enough to get one of those. And I'm going to set it to 1 month and 20 days. That's roughly 2 months. Doesn't really matter. And just move this up. And then all of these indicators aren't going to help if the stock hasn't been around very long. So we can get rid of those indicators, or we could keep a couple of them. I'm just going to get rid of full stochastics. These long period MACDs aren't going to help me at all. And so by updating all of these charts, now we've cleaned it up a little bit. And again, you can just see on this 60-minute chart, at least this is working its way higher. There's not a lot of volume going on. Perhaps that's one of the things we could add. And the way I like to display volume is you select it, and then in this case, let's just take the 20-period moving average of volume. And so it's going to draw a volume line on here, and you can see that over here. So this stock doesn't trade very much. But we can go down to the bottom now and say apply style to all. So what we're hoping to see on all of these charts now when we go to the top of the list is a 60-minute version of the chart. We'll get a volume profile. PPO, because there's so little data, it's not going to show us any. And as an example, let's just say that we wanted more space across this chart. We wanted this to stretch out farther to the left. We can just get rid of the 2-month and set it up for 1 month, right? So let's just go to 20 days. It's going to show us 1 month of data. And we're going to go down and we're going to apply that style. So I want to just show you how flexible this is. You're just literally, this is a dump scan file. We could go get a new one at any time. So we don't really have to worry about the data, and we're not worried about mixing it up. But now we're in these scans, and so what we can do is we can go through and view them in order. Now, a really short scan is going to trade at the top of the price range for the last 14 days. So knowing that, some of these might be just brand new IPOs, and that's the reason that they showed up high on the RSI list. That's still not a problem. Let's keep working with it. What I like about Bumble here, what we see is a pullback to start, a run up, a pullback, and now I like the fact that it's starting to turn up. So this, let's just say that I wanted to trade these fast moving IPOs. I'm probably going to use a 60-minute chart. That's probably a good place to start. But I like the fact that it's just starting to turn higher. Now, literally, normally I'm a weekly guy, so this chart is a really short time frame for me. Other people are using minute and 3-minute and 5-minute. For me, weekly is my favorite. Anyway, this chart is starting to break out to the upside. What's not to like? It's starting to go. It's a popular name, and so perhaps that's something we like, and we could set our stop just below here. Most of the volume is traded inside this 77 to 78 area. If it holds that, I probably want to own it. It looks like it's got lots of volatility. This looks like almost a 10% bar. So we've got some of those going on. Decibel Therapeutics, this has done just the opposite. Started off and then dropped down almost $5 to start. Here's Viant Technology. No idea what they do. Maybe that's one thing we could add. We could go back here and we could just turn on the full quote box, and that might help us. No, they haven't labeled what sector or industry is it in. Okay, so we won't bother. We'll just leave it where it was at. But with this one, Medicus Sciences acquisition, and again, we're just looking for the chart shape. So this one just started to debut on Tuesday. So fresh out of the chute. And then Tuatara Capital, this one sounds like a SPAC, Tuatara Capital Acquisition Corp, and opened up on Friday and then shot up today and traded up quite nicely, up 2%. So one of the things about a computer scale is the price action, the low and the high are always going to be the limit of the chart. So they'll put it near the bottom and near the top, and then they change the scale. So it's very important to recognize well, this looks like it moved a long way. When we go look at how much it moved, it was only 2.8%, whereas Bumble at the top had moved 10%. So the computer's always going to take whatever data range you've got, stretch it out, and adjust the scale. So be careful about saying, wow, this stock's really, the same sort of initiative or momentum as one of the big names. All of a sudden you look and you find the scale's not going anywhere. Okay, Cova Acquisition Corp sounds like another SPAC, but it's gently climbing higher. And today it traded just up 1% on Tuesday. Scion Technical Growth, you can just see, really hasn't broken out of its trading range yet. Signify Health, this one's actually started off $31 up to $39.50 and back. That's kind of a fast range for 3 days. Anyway, just worth looking at. Here's Vor Biopharma. Big wild swings on the first day, settling in around $52, up 7%. Tishman Speyer Innovation Corp, don't know anything about it, probably another SPAC. Anyway, started trading on Friday. But the idea being when you start to look at these, at least you've got a method to kind of go find them, first of all, and then second of all, just go in and kind of narrow in on the charts you want to look at. And as an example, let's say you don't trade biotech. Well, you're just going to take all of these biotech ones and you're just going to hit the delete button over here. It's a garbage can in the corner, and you just hit it and it would be gone. So here's Biometa, $16 stock up to $20 stock. That's a nice 20% move in the first week. So trading up quite nicely. Again, we're just looking at price action. We don't know anything about these companies. Evo Acquisition Corp doing, 1040 to 1025. Nothing really to worry about here yet. We'll just watch the price continue to develop a pattern. Bolt Biotherapeutics, runs up hard, $22.50 to $36, $35, pulls back and is gently starting to build a consolidation area. And in my early reading as a technician, one of the things I learned from the How to Make Money in Stocks book by Bill O'Neill was how to trade IPOs. And his idea was you don't have to own it on the morning it opens. What you want to see it do is open, build a base, and then as it starts to break out of that base, then you can look to enter it. So something like this, just as an example. It opened, it had a bunch of wild swings, starting to consolidate, and now wants to turn up. I don't know anything about this company. ECP, Environmental Growth Opportunities, it's probably got all three names in there for everybody who's been on the run and gun Reddit list. So environmental growth opportunities, I mean, how many more buzzwords? They probably needed the word strategic in there. Anyway, trying to break out of this little downtrend, starting to turn higher. On a micro level, this is at least starting to form a base before it starts to take off. It's been trading for a week. You might want that base to build over a month or whatever. All depending on your time frame. Rosecliff Acquisition, another SPAC. Broad Scale Acquisition, so trading down. Ignite Acquisition Corp. Okay, I thought it might have been Iginla. Jerome Iginla was a hockey player in Calgary, and as you know, the athletes are now leading the SPAC clubs. So anyway, this one's just not a lot of trading volume, working its way sideways. Lazard Growth Acquisition Corp, famous money management firm, I think, Lazard. So anyway, consolidating sideways, and it could just sit here for a while around this $10 level until they actually find something they want to acquire. Then they ask the shareholders, do you like this acquisition? If the shareholders say yes, then they go buy it. So Centricus Acquisition Corp, same thing. Anyway, it's never been so frothy with so many names. Acquisition. Goal Acquisitions Corp. TELUS International. This is a Canadian company. This is their spin-off of TELUS, I'll call it Canada, or to TELUS International. And a little bit of a wild swing out here. So it starts off pumping up and then just generating sideways, $30. This TELUS company is like a Bell or a small version of Verizon or something like that. Big company in Canada. They've done a spin out just to break out this international component. Spartan Energy Acquisition Corp. So trending down a little bit. Progress Acquisition Corp. And you can see we're starting to get some more data. That's nice. Finally see a trend here. So this has been trending up nicely since the beginning of February, from $11 to $15. Probably as long as it can hold that trend, that would probably be okay. Gore's Holding. So this one, nothing, looks like a SPAC. And then all of a sudden, bing, from $11 to $20. Healthcare Acquisition Corp. Sustainable Development Acquisition Corp. Man, that's a meaningful name. Anyway, not to mock all these names, it just seems like literally these guys are sitting around a coffee table. Yeah, let's start a SPAC. Okay, what are we going to call it? Well, sustainable would be good, and development would be great, and acquisition, of course. And anyway, some of the names are a little undesirable. Fifth Wall Acquisition Corp. This one's trending down nicely, starting to build in that base we talk about, and then perhaps it can start to lift off half out of here. CN Energy Group, big wild swing the first day from 450 to 880, a double, and then pull back and now consolidating in the middle of the range. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, I've got to keep these shows light with humor, talking about all of the fun stuff about these names. Power and Digital Infrastructure Acquisition Corp. So this one starts off at 1080 up to 1240 and is starting to just build that sideways base. And again, you can look at all of these. Here's a nice little trend in the company. It's starting to work. Now it's got a little pennant pattern going, a breakout to above 1085. Maybe you want it. I think the real hard part about these is if you don't know what they're investing in, it's literally just odd. Here's Decarbonization Plus Acquisition Corp. So obviously anti-fossil fuels, that's fine. Whatever their donut is that they're going after. In this case, we've got the stock trending down, starting to base here, and what we want to start to see obviously is it starts to work its way back up. They might not have anything for months, so maybe you don't want to look at these until they actually start to get their company and start to actually make a breakout out of a longer term base. Venus Acquisition Corp, same thing here, just kind of getting set up. You can just see all these acquisitions. Isn't it almost remarkable? Gaming and Hospitality Acquisition Corp. Talus Biomedical. Anyway, Shoals Group. So we also have the choice again that I've started off here at the top. Now maybe these are just the shorter ones. So let's go see where the RSI might be more normalized and see if we have more data. So here's Foxwayne Enterprises Acquisition Corp. and just trending sideways. Now maybe what you're looking for is all of a sudden it starts to break out, and then that's what you want to find. This is a good example. So Altimeter Growth Corp, breaking sideways, building this base, all of a sudden starting to work its way higher. So this is only one day, traded up 3% today. But again, maybe the news is starting to feed in about what they're doing, and perhaps it's going to start to take off. Fovaris NV, downtrending a little bit too much for me. Pubmatic, Automatic Pub. Anyway, consolidating in a sideways range. Want to see it just kind of build out here. Natural Order Acquisition Corp. Interesting. Runs up, runs down, runs up, runs sideways. Just maybe keep an eye on just seeing if it can break back above this $13.40 level. Driven Brands running up and falling back down. Everything looks good till Monday morning or Tuesday morning, and down it goes here from 35 to 31. So a bit of a haircut, down 9% on the day. Healthcare Acquisition Co. And again, don't take my words about, you don't want to look for healthcare or whatever. You can look for whatever you want. The only reason I said that was just so that if you have something you don't like, just hit the garbage can over here and it's gone from your list. But you can keep searching this list. You can run the scan over time for like the PPO turning up. And if you can't run the scan for daily, then I like to just change these parameters to be based on a 60-minute chart. So 12 goes to 2 and 26 goes to 8 and 9 goes to 3 or whatever. If you want to watch on a 60-minute. I'm just using examples here of different ways you can work with the system we've got at StockCharts and run through these. But anyway, a lot of these are light trading volume until all of a sudden they start to show up. Okay, Marvel Life Science Holding. This one I like because at least there's some volume starting to show up in here. It's not a lot, but in the last 60 minutes, you had 155,000. I think that's what's telling us. Yeah, 700,000 shares trading on the day. And this is starting to consolidate over a 3-week period. I like this. I wouldn't mind waiting for it to start to break out. Light Jump Acquisition Corp. Again, thinly traded until they start to get something in their corporate umbrella that they're starting to work on. Certera, RMG Acquisition Corp. You kind of want to start to see the volume start to pick up. So maybe this is happening here. Doesn't look like much yet. 600,000 shares traded today. Started a little higher, pulled back. But it's trying to consolidate in around this 1250. And again, the insiders are going to know what they're doing. The neighbors close to the insiders are going to know what they're doing. The only way we're starting to know that they're doing something is price starts to break out. So in this particular case, Affirm Holdings, trading sideways, breaks out to the upside. Now what does it do? It comes right back to this 117.50 level. So it runs up, pulls back, and now looks, as an example, could bounce off this horizontal support resistance layer and start to turn higher. Let's just say you pick it up here as it starts to run up. Your stop is going to go right tight here at 115. If it doesn't hold it, let somebody else own it. But the idea is the stock does seem to trend over a few periods. What I like here is that it started to run up, then gave the pullback just to see if any weak holders want to let go of the stock, and now it would start to take back off again. TZP Strategies Acquisition Corp, still a little too light on the volume. Anytime I look and I see it's patchy like this, that just tells me the volume is so light that I might not be interested in this case, 126,000 shares. Not really the kind of volume we're looking for. Here's 8,000 shares in the last 60 minutes, so a little bit light so far. Just all these Acquisition Corp, Metropolis, Gores Metropolis, Grace Biotechnologies. So again, pulling down, runs up, consolidates sideways. I like that. Now all of a sudden the price is starting to get stability. People are willing to buy it as it gets near $28. If it breaks below here, is anybody going to step in? And let's just say, whatever, somewhere in here, you decide to take an entry because you're at support. You might set your stop down, give it a little bit of room to wiggle. But if it can hold in this support range and start to break out to the upside, that's nice. If you want it to start trending higher, then you're going to just wait, watch and see it get support here. And then as it goes through 30 or 31, 30, 50, then you're going to add on. It's 10% higher, but at least it started to trend higher. Healthcare Capital, so this one running sideways, starts to break out, pulls back, so false breakout. Keros Acquisition Corp, again, acquisition, all of these companies have just literally come out of the woodwork lately. Monument Circle Acquisition Corp, Clopen Group, Authentic Acquisition. So you could even go through and just say you don't want SPACs. Then you're going to go through and just hit delete on all of these. I'm going to go back now that I've shown you kind of how to start and set up and where to find the list. Again, it was over here under charts and tools. So let's just say we want to go look for Airbnb. Okay, and it's down in the list down here at the 10th page. So the stock has been running up, pulling down, running up, and it's coming in sideways, and I think it reports earnings. If my gut tells me or my memory tells me, it's on the 27th. Is that right? Anyway, we can go over here. I don't know if you've seen this tool on StockCharts yet, but you can go to Symbol Summary and say Airbnb. And it'll tell us next earning date. There we go, February 25th, after market close. And so basically a week out here, we're going to know what Airbnb will do on their first earnings report. And from that, we can use this information. So again, I'm just going to go click on the stock here, get it into a normal look for me. So here's a 60-minute view. I'm going to just add a couple of periods to it here. So what we see is the stock runs up, pulls back, runs up again, pulls back again into the middle of the opening range, and now it's starting to make higher highs and higher lows. That's exactly kind of what you want the stock to do. It's up around $200. It's rolling over a little bit about prior highs. I still think they're in one of the key parts of the market, and when the market starts to open again, that's pretty interesting. Now, simple trend analysis for something like an Airbnb would be to just say draw a line across the bottom here. And just, if it pulls back to that line, then maybe you try to buy it there or wait until after earnings, your choice. Anyway, hopefully that was some new ideas. So thanks for taking the time to join me on Market Buzz. Market Buzz airs Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. You can also see the recordings on StockCharts TV YouTube page. Don't forget to go there. There's lots of good stuff. Thanks for taking the time to join me. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.